Welcome to the political circus. In a single chaotic week, Donald Trump fumbled his way through a town hall filled with racial blunders, a top national security official was demoted upward after a group chat disaster, and Pam Bondi tried to convince the country that Trump has already saved more lives than there are people in America, all before breakfast. This video breaks down the absurdity behind these headlines, offering a closer look at the math, the motives, and the media spin. Strap in. Let's begin with Trump's town hall event on NewsNation, which marked his 100th day back in office. Rather than offering clear policy updates or addressing major national concerns, the event became a showcase for Trump's confusion, and frankly, a moment that left viewers wondering whether he understood the difference between Harvard and Harlem. The moment came when sports commentator Stephen A. Smith asked Trump about concerns that his actions toward higher education, especially in relation to affirmative action and conservative censorship, could be seen as an attack on academic freedom. Instead of answering the question, Trump launched into a bizarre tangent about riots in Harlem. There were riots in Harlem, he said confidently, and people from Harlem went up and protested very strongly against Harvard. There were no riots in Harlem, none were reported by any credible news outlet, law enforcement agency, or community organization. Trump appeared to hear Harvard and respond with Harlem, suggesting a mental shortcut based on Stephen A. Smith's race, rather than the content of the question. It wasn't just factually incorrect, it was racially coded nonsense. And if that weren't enough, Trump doubled down with the classic line, "I got a very high black vote, you know that." Historically, Trump's black support has hovered around 8 to 12% in most reputable polls. Better than zero, sure, but hardly the very, very high numbers he claims. It's as if every time a black person appears on screen, Trump thinks it's time to dust off his imaginary MLK award and prove how not racist he is. But confusing Harlem with Harvard? That's not just racially insensitive, it's emblematic of a man who treats race and policy like interchangeable props in a performance. While Trump was busy misidentifying neighborhoods, his national security advisor, Mike Waltz, managed to do something that would get most interns fired. He accidentally added a reporter to a confidential group chat discussing military strikes. Yes, you read that right. Waltz leaked classified discussions because he mismanaged a group chat. This sort of breach isn't just embarrassing, it's dangerous. Group chats and high-level government discussions are typically encrypted, secured, and closely monitored for precisely this reason. The idea that someone tasked with managing national security couldn't differentiate between a journalist and a military official in a contact list would be laughable, if it weren't terrifying. So what happened to Waltz? Was he fired, as anyone else might be, for jeopardizing operational security? Not exactly. In true Trumpian fashion, Waltz was promoted to U.S. Ambassador to the United Nations. That's right, he was reassigned to represent the United States on a global stage immediately after showing he couldn't even handle WhatsApp. Adding to the chaos, Secretary of State Marco Rubio was named Interim National Security Advisor on top of his current duties. In fact, as of this writing, Rubio is now juggling at least 4 major government roles: Secretary of State, National Security Advisor, acting head of USAID, and even acting archivist for the United States. Balancing 4 senior-level federal positions is like being asked to simultaneously coach a football team, run NASA, host the Oscars, and DJ your cousin's wedding. You can try, but none of it's going to go well. Yet, no one in the administration batted an eye. It was treated like business as usual. Now let's talk about the drug war fantasy numbers, courtesy of Pam Bondi. Appearing on Fox News, Bondi made an astonishing claim. Since Trump had been back in office, the DEA had seized 21 million fentanyl pills, which she equated to 21 million lives saved. Let's pause. According to the CDC, approximately 70,000 Americans die each year from synthetic opioid overdoses, fentanyl included. That's a national crisis, no question. But if 21 million lives were really saved in just 3 months, it would mean that tens of millions of people were seconds away from overdosing, many more than the entire total of fentanyl users in the country. And then, Bondi doubled down. Just 2 days later, she claimed that 119 million lives had been saved, based on the DEA confiscating just 1.2 million more pills than her original figure. In other words, the difference between 21 million and 22.2 million pills somehow equaled nearly 100 million additional lives saved. That's not math, that's fan fiction. But she wasn't done. At a cabinet meeting the next day, Bondi updated her tally once again, 258 million lives saved. By that logic, Trump had saved 3/4 of the entire US population in 3 months. She looked straight into the camera and asked, "Are you ready for this, media?" "No, Pam, we weren't ready." No one was ready. Not even J.D. Vance, a Yale law graduate and Trump ally, could hide his stunned expression as Bondi delivered that line. His face screamed, "Did she just say 258 million? And yes, she did. This isn't just bad math, it's dangerous disinformation. Inflating success numbers not only insults the intelligence of the public, but it also undermines the real, urgent work needed to combat America's overdose crisis." This week's trifecta of Trump world chaos, delusion, incompetence, and mathematical fantasy highlights a deeper issue. These aren't isolated gaffes or harmless exaggerations. They point to a government functioning on spectacle, not substance. Mishearing Harvard as Harlem during a serious policy question isn't just embarrassing, it's revealing. Promoting a national security advisor who mishandled classified information isn't just a joke, it's a risk. And claiming to save more lives than there are Americans? That's not just dumb, it's dangerous. America deserves better than viral one-liners, magical math, and bureaucratic musical chairs. The world is watching, and right now, we look like a punchline. Thanks for watching.